Here we go. I'm excited. We're back into it. Gonna be playing some more of When the Night Comes, which is so much fun and I love it. I hope you guys love it. Um so in case you didn't catch the last stream, I did go ahead and upload the last stream onto YouTube, so you can always check it out. That's up to you. But we're gonna hop back in to where we left off, which hopefully everything's back to working. Last stream had a bit of hiccups, but that's okay. That's okay. But we're gonna hop into this. We're back in it. I'm so excited. This game is so pretty. Oh. Wait. Whoops. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear everything okay. Whoops. Okay. Alright, there we go. Now I think everything's working. It's being finicky. Okay. There we go. Hopefully you guys can hear me alright. Because especially since most of this game depends on you hearing me. But we are gonna hop in to where we left off. We're gonna jump right into it. I have a drink with me, and we're gonna go. Okay, alright. So, if I remember correctly, we are investigating in the cemetery. Seems completely fine. Nothing can go wrong in a cemetery. Absolutely nothing. So here we go. You're the expert. Shouldn't you be telling me? I'm pretty sure I asked, like, where should we start or something like that, but maybe leaving off here wasn't the best idea, but it's happened now. I brush past him, returning his smile as I head for the site of the murder. Don't push your luck, vampire. Also, I hope the other voices aren't too loud as well. But just let me know if it is. Alright. He laughs, a quiet chuckle, and he doubtfully follows me. We stop at the charred patch of grass, and Finn bends to pick up one of the bloodiest shards of the shattered gravestone. I gotta get back into the reading mindset. He brings it to his nose, glancing at me before he gives it a tentative sniff. He crinkles his nose, apparently repulsed by whatever scent he's picked up. He hands me the stone, wiping his hands off on his trousers.
I suggest you keep that. That's not something I've experienced before, and I've smelled a lot of different things in my time.
Oops, sorry. Hang on. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more. Okay. Oh, dang it! I cut him off. Sorry. It seems off. It's from a creature. It's certainly not one I've come across in my 600 years. Oh, a rare creature. I throw him an accusatory glance before I turn my attention back to whatever he's handed me. I put it in my pocket for safekeeping, confused about why such a thing was left uncollected. Oh, so I wonder if this thing's not getting solved because somebody's sabotaging us. Just an idea. Or somebody just like, no, I would say sabotage. You can't pick up anything familiar at all? which must mean it isn't the victim's blood. He shakes his head. Definitely not his. Well, here goes nothing. I do exactly as I did last time. I close my eyes, concentrating and pouring all of my energy into seeking out that lingering memory. Ooh, that's freaky. That sounds funny. It's just as I remember, painful, loud, and I almost can't bear it as a deep, scared voice echoes in my mind. Leave while you still can. Oh. I feel a force pushing at me, but it's weak and nothing I can't handle. So I fight it and hold my ground. It's not hostile but panicked. It's trying to tell me to go, to get out, to run. That just makes me want to stay all the more. I hear Finn saying my name, but it's quiet, almost as if I'm underwater. I want to help. Tell me now. Tell me how. Who did this to you? No help, just death. You can't stop them. I tried. I failed. The voice quickly disappears and I'm left with more questions. Ooh. I open my eyes and find Finn crouched before me, his eyes wide with concern etched on his face. Eden, what the fuck was that? You didn't hear that? Hear what? I was trying to listen, but I didn't want to risk my abilities interfering with yours. This is so interesting. I so badly want to figure out what this is. I exhale sharply, shaking my head. It was the hunter. That's never happened before. What do you mean? I mean, I feel things. I hear things sometimes too, but I've never directly spoken to a spirit like that before. At least, that's what I think it was. I should go. We both move to stand and my legs feeling a little shaky beneath me. Hey, take it easy. I nod, regretting it immediately as a wave of dizziness overtakes me. Whoa there, are you sure you're good to go alone? Yes, I'll be fine. I'm gonna guess I passed out or something.
You need to go and seek out Ezra.
Oh, no,
He can help you. Trust me. He's good with weird shit like this.
Seems like it. Makes sense. I contemplate heading back to see August, but I suspect they wouldn't appreciate me disturbing them at this hour with little more than a ghost story. You're right. I'll head for his shop immediately. Finn nods, still watching me carefully. Be careful. Head straight there, okay? I will. Thank you, Finn. See you around, Eden. Ooh, okay. Alright. So, crazy memory talking to a spirit. I guess it's not really a memory now because I'm reaching out and actually talking to the spirit. And apparently it tried and it didn't go well, which makes sense because it's a hunter. Okay, cool. We're getting more details. He turns and heads for the forest, a final glance at me over his shoulder before he disappears. Now, I need to find Ezra, and fast. I hurry to the shop, still unsteady on my feet, and my mind is still reeling. What the hell is going on in this town? I round the corner and see that the lantern outside the shop is dark. I didn't realize how late it had gotten, and I can only hope that he's home. I knock on the door and hear a loud crash, followed by quick footsteps. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Door creaks open slowly, and a face that definitely isn't Ezra's appears. I'm taken aback by the sight of Omen, his eyes wide as he stares at me. Are you supposed to be in there, Omen? He blinks, and a moment later he smiles, full of sheepish remorse. That answers my question, though it's difficult to even work up any annoyance if he's actually trespassing. Is he influencing me with his powers, or is his human face just that cute? It's kind of cute. You gotta give Omen a bit of credit here. Yes, I'm maybe kind of living here right now. Oh, really? He smiles slyly, his ears twitching, and he looks away for a moment. Now, are we living here with permission? That's the next question. 'Cause I mean, we experienced how Ezra will just let us into his house and it'd be fine. But so the question is it with permission? Is Ezra here? He shakes his head, opening the door a little more.
No, he went out. He said he wouldn't be long, but I don't know when he'll be back.
So, at least Ezra knows he's here. His eyes widen a little more as if he's remembered something. Sorry, would you like to come in? I contemplate rushing off to continue my search for Ezra, but it would be stupid to miss a chance to find out a little more about this curious demon. I'd love to, but just for a moment. Ooh, okay, so we're getting to know Omen a little bit more. It'll be cool. There's a neat little pile of cushions arranged on the rug in the middle of the shop, and a handful of empty wrappers that I can only assume were once filled with treats. Omen rushes to pick them up and scrunches them all into a ball as if he's trying to get rid of the evidence. His tail sways mindlessly as he sticks them in a small bin hidden behind the counter. I mean, I definitely saw them, but okay. He seems oddly at home here, so I assume he's telling the truth about staying here often. You look exhausted. Have you been busy today? I laugh quietly, rubbing my temple. My head continues to thrum. Very busy, yes. He nods, picking up a lightly glowing blue crystal that sits on one of the displays. He fiddles with it nervously. Can I ask you a few questions? I suppose, yes. I might not be able to answer much, though. Why? He grimaces.
I try to stay out of things around here. The humans don't like me very much.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured more of the question would be more about you anyway, so who cares about the humans? Let's learn more about you. Because you're a demon. His mouth twists into something that looks like it's trying and very much failing to be a smile. Something like that. I suppose that's fair. It's not every day you see a demon like him walking down the street, even these days. He's well glamored, but he's still quite obviously inhuman. In a town like this, especially one so small, I imagine he's quite an unnerving presence. And that isn't even talking about taking into consideration what the murders and unanswered mysteries might have done to the townsfolk's nerves. Well, I mean, he's already kind of admitted he doesn't know much going on around here, so I feel like it'd be more interesting to ask him about himself. I don't know much about you. Where are you from? How long have you been here in Lenoris? His eyes widen, his pupils dilating, and I see the slightest hint of crimson flickering in chestnut brown.
I've been here about 2 years. Time passes differently here for me, so it's hard to know for sure. You'd have to ask Ezra. He'd know.
Of course Ezra would know. Ezra seems to know a lot of things around here. I don't miss the way he's tactfully ignoring my question about his origins, but I decide not to press him if he's giving me something. Yet. How do you meet Ezra? He lights up at that question.
I met him the day I arrived in Lunaris. He was the first person I saw, and he took me in without question when I was in need of shelter.
It's very, very sweet, but I feel like Ezra's habit of taking people in off, or any kind of strays in off the street, is going to get Ezra in trouble one day. Ezra is very kind, isn't he? He nods enthusiastically. He's quite wonderful. Everyone thinks so. Well? He fidgets, dropping his grip. Wow, I can't talk. He fidgets, dropping his gaze to his hands, fingers toying with the blue crystal again. The General August. They don't seem to like him very much, and that makes Ezra sad. Do you know why? He shakes his head, biting his lip. No, I didn't want to ask, but Finn says they've known each other for a very long time.
Ezra has been very, very kind to me. I don't want to pry, not about things that might hurt to say or to hear.
I nod slowly. It's hard to argue with that, I suppose. Oh, well, okay. I guess we're gonna ask about the murders. Do you know much about the recent murders? Omen passively looks out the window, a sad look crossing his face.
I know that the humans are upset, and that the ones who were killed were hunters. Ezra is tired all the time, and Finn visits him less. Alcar is distant.
Okay. Probably more things we've picked up on, but he sighs, a knot forming between his brows.
Everything is so different lately. I don't like it.
His eyes light up as he turns to look at me.
But now you're here. A solution. A fresh start.
We'll see. I hope. Hopefully. Eventually, Omen shrugs. The wind changes, perhaps towards shore this time? He smiles at me, full of optimism and faith. His trust is almost sweet, but I can't, in good conscience, lie to him. I hope so, Omen, but it might take me a little while. Right, yes, I understand that. He fidgets where he stands, his eyes flickering to the curtain that hides Ezra's living area. Can I show you something? Of course you can. One moment. Oh, what is it? What is it? He dashes through the curtain that separates the front of the shop with the back, reappearing within seconds clutching a weathered notebook. Here, I kept notes on things I find interesting, mostly humans, but also Finn, Alcar, and Ezra. He trails off, looking wistful.
I thought maybe this could help you. If you need to know stuff about certain people, I might have something here.
Oh, notes! That's so cute. I love it. Omen's sweet, but I think we're gonna stick with Piper. I think. I don't know. This is so hard. A lot of them are sweet in their own way, but I think we'll just do Can I Borrow It? Omen opens the front cover, running a finger over the words. The pages are full to the brim with barely legible notes, all seemingly written quite hastily. Most of it isn't even a language I understand. Would I be able to borrow it? He tenses, cheeks turning beet red as he closes it and holds it tight against his chest. Yeah, probably not something to borrow.
I'd like to keep it if that's okay. Though I'm happy to show you if you'd like.
Oh, cute. Okay. My fingers twitch at the thought of what observations he might have made, but I daren't startle him. That's a word, daren't startle him by insisting. He seems skittish still, just like the first time we met. Maybe another time? Of course. I feel a sudden twinge of pain again. The sensation is unpleasant and it burns. Eden, are you okay? Oh, I don't know. What's happening? Omen rushes to my side, the notebook forgotten on the counter. He reaches for me, but he's hesitant. I can feel an impossible warmth radiating off his palms, but he withdraws his hands before he touches me. I'm fine. I just really need to find Ezra. Do you have any idea where he could be?
I don't know for sure, but he usually goes to the market or the tavern. Maybe even the catacombs.
Catacombs? Catacombs? That's a choice, but okay. Yeah, exactly. The catacombs. He nods, leaning closer.
Yes, that's where the vampires are.
Oh. Okay. Well, that seems obvious now. He presses his fingers to his lips, a human gesture that looks out of place, like he's been practicing it.
I would try the tavern first, though. He did mention he needed a drink. He likes to drink a lot of wine after a busy day.
Thank you so much, Omen. I'd better hurry. I don't feel like I should really be leaving either, though, but okay. Alright. I bid him a quick farewell, wow, and head back into the darkness. Had to take a quick drink. There we go. Oh, cat emerged. Okay. Alright, back into it. Oh, what if we run into Piper? Oh! I pushed my way into the tavern, scanning every table for that shock of white hair, and much to my relief, I see the friendly face I'm looking for. Thank goodness. He's noticed me already, his hands raised as he beckons me over where he sits alone in a cozy spot in the corner. His smile is as bright and as wide as I remember, and I take a seat opposite of him.
It's good to see you. I hope the town hasn't scared you off yet.
Well, I mean, it's also slightly trying to murder me, but that's fine. I raise an accusatory eyebrow at him, earning a laugh. Well, even if it hasn't scared me off, I can't really go anywhere, can I? Ezra smiles softly, but he seems restless. I suppose not, no.
What's that like? Being bound to do whatever you're told. By your duty.
Like me personally, it would be a mix of things. Like, at least I feel like I got a purpose. But I could definitely see the lonely side of it. Not getting to make many friends. Man, that's hard. I don't know which. I'll go with it's lonely. Not making many connections. I feel like that could make sense too, especially because I'm sure it's a job where you have to travel a lot. And so, yeah, we'll do it's lonely. I contemplate his question for a moment, wondering exactly how honest I should be. Well, it's quite lonely, especially when you're torn from your previous post and dropped into a weird town full of strangers. And murderers. Don't forget those. Those are an important part of the equation. So, yeah. He winks, a sparkle in his eyes. And murderers, yes.
I'm sorry you have to endure that. Loneliness is a terrible thing, but you shall be lonely no more. We've got you now. We're here for you.
Well, unless I'm forced to go somewhere else for the job again. But yeah, that's nice. It's cute. He sits a little straighter, determined. We? He rolls his eyes playfully, with a hand placed over his heart.
You wound me. Yes, we. Myself and Finn and Piper and, well, maybe even August, if you're lucky.
Aw, that's so cute. I laugh as Ezra grimaces at that thought.
You have people here. Some might be undead or just plain stubborn, but you have us.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Ezra. That means a lot. He shrugs it off, running his fingers around the rim of his wine glass. I could not figure out the word rim there.
We've all been lonely at some point. Some of us will always be lonely, even surrounded by people. But if there's the smallest chance that you can quell that with some good company, then you should take it.
Ezra. He looks up at me, and I wonder how such a human existence. Okay, I'm sorry. He's kind, and possibly so, and I find it very hard to believe it could ever be an act. I gotta say, Ezra would definitely be my second choice if I wasn't going for Piper. So, you have friends here, Eden. The barmaid comes over and rolls her eyes, hand on her hip as she addresses me rather curtly. Drink? You know, after probably just going through something really draining and who knows what kind of condition I'm in, let's just do a water. She turns off and wanders off with yet another roll of her eyes, and Ezra poorly stifles a laugh. Don't take it personally. That's Edna. Oh, that is remarkably close to my name, and I just almost said mine. Eden, Edna, I mean, come on. She's notoriously, short. I grimace, and she returns with my glass of water. I nod politely. Thank you, Edna. Edna grunts, turning on her heel, throwing me a dismissive wave over her shoulder. Case in point. Ah, yes. I've never been more grateful for a cold glass of water and didn't realize how thirsty I was until I take a sip. Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you just went through this thing. I don't know. Are you okay? You seem tense. I was actually looking for you. I need to tell you something, but I need you to promise me you won't think I'm crazy.
You're talking to someone who lives in Lunaris. Try me.
Yeah, fair, but I don't know, you might think I'm crazy. I take a deep breath and edge closer, checking no one else is listening. I visited the graveyard after I left your shop yesterday to see the crime scene. I tried to get a feel for what happened there that night. Ezra leans in, his eyes wide. And? I didn't really get much other than an overwhelming sense of loss, which is, well, quite normal, considering the circumstances. People tend to feel such emotions when they're dying. But tonight I went back. Finn was there too, and I felt something different. Different how, exactly? I huff a laugh, knowing how ridiculous this sounds. I heard him, the hunter, the one who died. He spoke to me. Ezra gaze darts around the tavern. He sits back in his chair, running his hand through his hair. Oh, come on, don't tell me I'm crazy. He wipes the look of shock off his face quickly, putting himself to rights. His voice is low when he speaks next, barely a whisper. You're sure it was him? I nod. Positive. He told me to leave, and there's no hope in helping. Ezra leans forward again, pushing his wineglass aside, placing his hand upon the table. His fingers are visibly twitching. I'm torn. I'm torn. Oh, because Ezra's so sweet. But come on. Oh, chat, I don't know. And I don't want the game to get mad at me for choosing a romance option with two different people. This is so hard. Maybe we'll play through again and do other romance options, but for now we're going to stick with Piper. What does this mean? Is such a thing even possible, or am I going mad? He drums his fingers on the table, seemingly contemplating his response.
Yes? It's possible, but usually only for those with psionic abilities. People have spoken to the dead before, but for a hunter to directly communicate with a spirit is unheard of. As far as I know, anyway.
Wonder if I have special abilities or something. Or what if it's, since it's another hunter, we've got a, stronger connection? He withdraws his hand, clearly racking his brain for answers. One that he's not going to find sat in a tavern, I suspect. Are you okay, though? Do you feel weird? I touch my fingers to my temple. Very. It's almost as if he's still in there, in a way. I'm sorry you had to endure that. It must have been scary. I'm just thankful Finn was there. He managed to snap me out of it. Ezra smiles, tilting his head. He's a kind man. I'm glad he was there too, then. So, what now? Oh my gosh, this artwork is amazing! Oh! Wow, it's so pretty! Okay, alright, moving on. He curls his fingers around the stem of his glass and sighs deeply.
I don't even know how to unpack this, but I do know that you need to rest. How's your head feeling?
Not great. I sigh, pushing my water aside. Still hurting. Ezra fishes around in the pouch attached to his belt, retrieving a small vial full of what looks like a strange herb or flower. Here, crush this into some boiling water, and it should help with the headache. It's just some feverfew and butter burr. Completely natural, I promise. I take the vial and tuck it safely in my pocket. Do you have a pharmacy in there? He laughs. Wow, okay. I need to stop getting tongue-tied so much. He laughs softly, shaking his head. What kind of witch would I be if I didn't carry around a cure for a migraine? I should head back to the shop. I left Omen unattended with the kitchen cupboard unlocked. He'll eat me out of house and home. It's a little late for that. I did check there before I came here. He's gotten into the sweets. Shit. And that's definitely my cue to leave.
Whatever you experience today will still have happened tomorrow. I know what you hunters are like. No matter how scary August is, your report can wait until tomorrow.
Well, fine. Call me out like that. Alright, fine. I smile up at him as he stands to leave. I promise. I'm drained. I need my bed more than ever right now. Plus, I need to decide how to put all of this into words. This has changed everything for me, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid it did. He sighs deeply, resting a hand upon my shoulder.
Be mindful of who you share this information with, okay? There are eyes and ears everywhere.
Ah, that's ominous. Alright. Cool. Good night, Eden. Good night, Ezra. I stare out the window and spot the first snowflakes falling from a star-dusted sky. Winter has arrived in Lenoris. Oh, we get to see inside my room. My headache is persistent as I lay in bed, but nothing can possibly stop me from falling asleep after the day I've had. I finish the tea I made with the flowers Ezra gave me, hoping that it begins to take effect. I close my eyes, but just before I drift off, a distant whisper. My name is James. Oh my gosh, he is still there. What? What? Oh! I open my eyes to the insistent sounds of fists banging on my door. My head is still pounding, a fuzzy haze settling over me as I drag myself from the relative comfort of my bed and attempt to ignore the ache that has made itself at home behind my eyeballs. I blink once, twice, and shit. It's dark? Surely I slept for more than a few hours.
You better hope you're dead in a bloody ditch somewhere.
Oh no. Fuck. If you don't open this door in the next 5 seconds, then you'll have to pay for a new one. Oh, I grimace, thinking that might actually be the preferred option right now. Did I really sleep for a whole day? Oh no. This is not good. Okay. Well, at least my death will be at the hands of something other than a ghastly creature, I suppose. Small victories. Oh no. I look out the window and it's most definitely past sundown. Lenoris is covered in snow, a pristine blanket of perfect white glistening in the moonlight. There are more people in the street than I've seen the whole time I've been in Lenoris, and they're hanging brightly colored bunting from between the crooked little houses. I struggled with that sentence a lot, but that's okay. We're focused on the fact that August is about to kill us.
I have things to do. Important things. I can hear you in there, you know.
Yeah, just get up. The thought of opening the door and seeing August tear my head off is less than appealing, especially when I probably look like I've been dragged through a fey nest and left for dead. I gather my wits and shout as cheekily as I can muster, "I'll be down in 5 minutes!" I hear a series of incoherent mumbles from the other side of the door, followed by a clack of heels as they walk away without much of a fight. Okay, that was easier than I thought. I gather the feeling that I'm in a lot of trouble. No duh. Wonderful. The wolf is full to the brim with red-faced Patreons, all wearing far fancier outfits than the usual uninteresting garments they tend to spot. I also see August scowling in the corner, but I almost don't recognize them out of their uniform. Out of their uniform. They spot me, and I can almost feel my blood freezing as that ice-cold gaze fixes upon me. Oh no.
We thought you were missing. I almost had a search party sent out for you.
Aw, thank you. Glad to know you care. I feel like flirting, even if I did want to try and romance August. This is not the time. I really am sorry, General. I overslept. I promise I won't make a habit. I don't have time for your excuses. You missed your chance to brief us when you didn't show for our meeting this morning. But nothing. I stayed in silence, thinking it might not be such a good idea to push them. If you had attended this morning's meeting, you would know that there's quite an important event happening this evening. We don't have much time thanks to your tardiness, so please bear with me while I explain. Okay, alright.
We are in the middle of a crisis, yes, but the Lunar Festival is unavoidable. Harry thinks that if we postpone or cancel it, the town will erupt into chaos.
Probably. They need stability more than ever right now, and the last thing we need is more panic. Lunar Festival? A festival while there are horrible murders being committed. Trust me, I know. It's abhorrent, to be quite honest. It's a yearly tradition that's been around for centuries, one that Harry holds dear. He's been distant lately.
We need our leader back. And if this helps, then I'm willing to play along. And I expect you to do the same. No questions asked, understand?
Alright, fine. I wasn't going to ask questions. I hardly agree, and I have more than enough on my mind that I need to figure out. But the look August is giving me tells me I have little to no choice. I mean, just try and think about things while being around. I don't know. It should be fine.
And between you and me, I personally think it's a complete and utter waste of time and resources. Especially in the middle of such a crisis.
Well, I mean, keeping everyone's spirits high is... it's important, I feel. They sigh heavily, shrugging as if they've already admitted defeat. Alas, it's important that Harry that we stick with said traditions and show the people of Lenoris that everything is exactly as it should be. It's not, but okay. So just forget about the horrible murders and my sworn duty to protect and serve for the people for a night, then. Oh, I do not feel like I should be back talking in this current moment, but yes. Yes, you've got it. Okay. And I don't have a choice. Do you ever? True. Point taken. A rather loud cheer rings from the doorway, and August grimaces, running a hand over their face.
The festival itself takes place in the market. Please represent us well, Hunter. All eyes will be on you. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the town.
Oh no, I gotta be social. I'm not good at that. Then they look me up and down, apparently unsatisfied with my presentation. You'll want to change into something a little more interesting, and I suggest you find someone to escort you. It would look a little odd having you wander around by yourself. We have to show solidarity. Piper! Piper! Where's Piper? Piper! Is Piper also required to attend the festival? She is, but she is expected to work. She's been assigned as a guard this evening. Oh, that's just mean. Come on. I see. They sigh, clearly exasperated that I apparently have an interest in her whereabouts. Well, I'm sorry. If you're going to seek her out, just see to it that you don't disturb her work. And don't forget to change. Okay, I don't think I look that bad, but okay. I don't even know what I look like, so okay. I nod, smiling politely. Yes, General. Good evening, Hunter. They tug an expensive-looking fur coat and head out for the chill. I look down at my outfit, sighing as I resign myself to the fact that I probably should change. Okay, fine. I head out. I hope I changed. I'm pretty sure I changed. It should be fine. I head out into the snow-covered night, taking in the strange beauty of the town as I draw near to the market. A lush basket of white covers the top of the crooked little houses, a dusting settling on the cobblestones where it still falls from the sky in a gentle flurry. Lenore certainly has charm, and when it's quiet like this, it could almost be mistaken for being peaceful. Ah yes, when no death is happening, it's a peaceful, cute town. I hear rustling, and then a quietly whispered string of curses. What's up? Hello? Of course, it's Alcar. What do you mean, of course? What are you doing? I'm shocked to see he's actually wearing an additional layer, but his feet are still bare. Oh no. Honey, put some shoes on. You're gonna freeze. I mean, I don't know. Maybe 'cause you're not exactly human, it's different. But still. Aren't you cold? I'm a lichen. I'm never cold. You're wearing an extra layer, Mr. Tough Guy. Fair point. He shrugs, rubbing the back of his neck before throwing me a quick wave, turning to leave. Wait, are you going to the festival? Yes, unfortunately. Want to walk there together? He groans, rolling his eyes. All right, man. Come on, Alcar. Come on. We can be friends. I guess. Keep up, though. He walks in silence, Alcar kicking the snow as we go. Or we walk in silence, sorry. He's not exactly interesting company, but he is quite fascinating to watch. Eventually he sighs, deciding to strike up some conversation. Thank you. So, are you just gonna wander around all alone? No, I'm going to try and find Piper, actually. What? How dare you? He makes a disgusted noise, gagging for a dramatic effect. I can't help but laugh at his theatrics. No love lost between you two? He scoffs.
She hates me, I hate her. It's a mutual hate fest.
Come on, that sounds like the best type of friendship.
At least you'll find her easily if you arrive with me. I'm sure she stuck a tracking dart up my ass when I wasn't looking.
Easier to find you. You're the one who wants to be all mysterious. We've reached the edge of the market, and I'm taken aback by how colorful it is. It's full of life, busting at the seams with smiling faces and laughter. Well, this is impressive. Alcar shrugs, scratching his chin, eyes darting around. I'm going to go find Ezra and the idiots before Merriman shows up. The idiots? The vampire and the demon. Who else? Alright. What an affectionate way to refer them. He lets out a sharp, quick laugh, quite pleased with himself. I know. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to click that. Sorry. Anyway, laters. And he's gone. I idly wonder where to begin looking for Piper, but as a loud crash followed by a pained squeal rings out just over the corner, I think I might be in luck. Sure enough, I only need to take a few steps, and I find Piper with a weaselly young man in her grip. She has him pinned, his arm twisted behind his back, and she snarls in his ear.
Touch any of these ladies' wares again, and I'll cut off one of those grubby little fingers. Got it?
Fair. The man nods quickly, and I don't blame him. Drop the goods, and we won't have to be arrested, and I won't have you arrested for theft. A necklace falls from the fingers of his unpinned hand, and Piper catches it before it can hit the ground. She releases him with a shove, and he darts off into the crowd, whimpering as he goes. She inspects the necklace with narrow eyes before handing it back to the elderly woman who owns the jewelry stall. Here you go, sweetheart. Just yell if that knob comes back and I'll come running, daggers drawn. The old woman nods, clasping Piper's hand between her own and muttering her thanks. Piper turns to spot me in the crowd, offering me a small wave. Hey there, what's kickin'? That was impressive. Just keeping myself busy, considering this is the most boring night of my fucking life. August assigned you to this? She scoffs, tucking a stray hair behind her ear. They did. Just another in the long line of punishments, I assume.
I'm being made to spend one of the only enjoyable nights of the year in this hellhole, babysitting a bunch of incompetent juniors.
Oh, yep, does sound like a sounds like a punishment. And the most exciting thing to happen is restraining a skinny runt's wrist for getting too handsy with some jewels. I feel like this is a bad idea though. I feel like I want to romance Piper, but I don't want to distract her from working and then get her and me in trouble. I'm already in trouble as it is. And so is Piper, apparently. Oh, no. Okay, alright, fine. I'm gonna go for it. You know what? Why not? Even though it's maybe a bad idea. I was looking for you. I wanted to spend some time with you.
Oh? You want to spend time with me?
Well, yes. Well, that's awfully nice of you, but I'd hate to drag you around chasing petty criminals on your night off. It's fine, Piper. I'd be happy to do anything if I got to do it with you. Aw, it's so cute.
Aren't you a flatterer? I can't say I'd mind some company, especially if it's you.
Ah, it's so cute. I'm excited. Okay, yay, that went well. Now, who's the flatterer?
Are we having a competition? Because I'll win.
If we're having a competition, no, I'll win. Thank you very much. I laugh and have no doubt that she's telling the truth. Then I yield. I'm all yours. Do with me what you will.
Oh, Hunter, you have no idea.
Oh, wow. So, where do we start? We're just gonna skip past that. Are you literally just expected to wander around until something happens? Pretty much, yes. Which is why hunters are such an idiotic concept.
We're essentially conditioned to be creature-killing machines. But when you get shoved into a tiny town like this, you end up doing the enforcers' jobs.
Makes sense.
They are supposed to be the ones policing such events. But they're too busy sitting behind their expensive desks, sipping wine that they can't pronounce the name of.
Wine they specifically can't pronounce the name of. She takes a deep breath, running her hands over the front of her coat. Sorry. I'm just a little disheartened lately. I can imagine why. I don't blame you. It must be hard.
I've worked myself to death since I graduated to become general. And to have that ripped away when I achieved it at such a young age.
But this isn't the time for such conversations. If I have to guard this shitty festival, then I'll do it right. Come on, partner. We head deeper into the market, seeking out the busier area where it might be a little easier for theft to occur. I can tell Piper is restless, her fingers twitching at her side, often reaching to check her daggers are still in place at her back. She doesn't belong here. The job is beneath her. So I intend to make it enjoyable as possible for her. I know you can't drink on the job, but hot chocolate is acceptable, right? I point to the stand that sits before us, watching people walk away clutching cups piled high with cream and marshmallows. Piper grins, eagerly skipping towards it and striking up a conversation with the vendor. She returns with 2 drinks, extra marshmallows, and hands me one with a wink.
This is all well and good, but it would be so much better with a dash of rum.
I take a sip, with sweet chocolate warming me up in an instant. Piper hums her approval and visibly relaxes, any tension melting away as she drinks. This was an excellent idea. I think I'll keep you around. So, what now? We just wait? There doesn't seem to be much trouble. Oh, Eden, you underestimate the stupidity of the people of Lenoris. I just said there's not much going on at the moment. I know how stupid people can be. I'd rather take on a coven of evil witches than deal with these idiotic townsfolk. Oh gosh. Again. Shall we head for the magical goods stalls? That tends to be the place where the most theft happens. Sure. That shit is expensive. We finish our drinks and move along, the crowd thinning as we find the stalls Piper mentioned. I spot Ezra browsing the herbalist wares. No Alcar, Finn, or Omen in sight. Oh no. Hello, both. Piper nods, polite but unenthusiastic considering how charming Ezra can be. Ezra? Where are your odd little friends? I love that the little friends either being called idiots or odd little friends or it's great. Oh, they're about. Don't worry though, I've got my eye on them. Piper doesn't seem convinced, not so subtly turning to look for the missing creatures. They're at the docks getting a spot for the fireworks. You don't need to worry. It's not Casimir or the demon I'm worried about. It's the bloody wolf. Did you know that he broke into my house the other night? Oh. I stand in awkward silence watching them stare each other down. Ezra doesn't seem surprised or bothered for that matter. I know they aren't your responsibility, but you associate yourself with them, and people are going to talk. They mean no harm. Alcar is, well, he's Alcar. Still probably shouldn't be breaking into people's houses. It's not the best. I know all about Alcar being Alcar. The mood shifts in an instant. Piper cuts back a shaky inhale through clenched teeth. I just don't want you to get hurt. I can handle it. I can handle myself. I know. I'm going to go find them. Take care, both of you. Piper looks guilty, clenching and unclenching her fist at her side. I always do this. No, comfort her. Come on. I take a step forward, her sad sapphire gaze meeting mine as I do so. I reach out and place my hand upon her arm, squeezing gently. She closes her eyes, grateful, accepting the contact. You're fine. I'm sure Ezra wasn't upset.
Didn't you see those big sad eyes? He's like a loyal puppy, one that I just kicked.
Oh, yeah, that does seem like Ezra, but I think Ezra knows you mean well. I can't help but laugh. I mean, he did look quite sad. Piper frowns, but it's more of a pout, something edging on playful. That helps, thanks. I shove her, earning a smile. You're a real twat, you know that, right? I shrug, dropping my hand. Yes, but I'm yours. She quirks a perfectly arched brow at me, tilting her head. Are you now? I clear my throat, sensing the mischief in her tone, the way she's looking at me, setting my skin alight.
I'm going to have fun with you.
Oh, gosh. Thank you for being sweet, though. I'll be sure to apologize to Ezra next time I see him. I let my instincts get the better of me sometimes. Piper clicks her neck, stretches out her arms. I'm restless. I haven't had a good hunt in days. She runs her tongue along her teeth, contemplating her next move. A wolfish grin crosses her. Wow, okay, I messed up that whole sentence. A wolfish grin crosses plum-colored lips. Come on, we're going to check up on the juniors. I bet the little shits are slacking off. Oh gosh. The crowd appears to be thinning, people beginning to head out towards the docks and the beach ready for the fireworks. Piper leads the way, striding confidently with purpose. She suddenly places her arm in front of me to stop, holding it there and pressing her fingers to her lips. There they are, just as I suspected. She's looking directly at a small group of, kids. What are you going to do? Oh gosh, what's happening? They can't be any older than 18, and 4 of them are huddled closely, nursing over filled bags of treats. They're laughing, joking, kicking around the snow at one another, and Piper is pissed. Just wait here. Oh gosh. Piper grins, sneaking off, and I watch intently as she crouches behind a wall, a perfect view of her targets. She's roguish, and I long to see her in the field. She gathers a handful of snow, molding it into a rather impressive ball in her hands. Oh no. She stands quickly, hurling at the group. It lands directly in the face of one of the boys, and the look that crosses his face is positively hilarious. One of them yells as they spot her, and all I can see is her gesturing wildly at them, their cheeks turning red as they drop the treats and make a run for it. She's still shaking her head as she returns to me, her coat and hair covered in a dusting of snow. Well, that's one way to catch people.
And there we have it, our future. A bunch of snot-nosed little shits who would rather slack off than save humanity.
Yeah. Okay. I still think that is the best way to catch people slacking off, and now I want to do it. You see somebody not doing what they should be at work? Get a snowball, because there's casually just snow always lying around. Is training school really that lax these days?
They don't know how lucky they are. I'd kill to go back to school. I was in my element there. Top of my class, training every day.
She sighs wistfully. Killing monsters without having to write a bloody report about it afterwards, those were the days. Her eyes grow wide as she focuses on something behind me. She mutters something under her breath, standing a little taller.
Shit.
Oh, were we caught? I turn to find Harry approaching. Oh, my stomach sinking as I remember I let both him and August down today.
Well, well, if it isn't my 2 favorite hunters. I trust you're enjoying the festival?
Yes, sir. Of course, it's wonderful as always. I spare a glance at Piper, perplexed at her unusually polite tone. She shakes her head, subtle enough for Harry to miss it, a warning not to question her if I'm correct. Harry turns to me, his smile bright but curious. We missed you this morning, Eden. Are you all right? Piper throws me another look, her brows raised in question. I smile politely, as apologetic as I can muster. I have some things to discuss with you, but I can assure you my excuse is genuine. He stares for a moment, seemingly unconvinced, but then he laughs. You don't have to apologize. I have every faith in you, Ethan.
Anyway, I'd better get going. It's firework time. Are you coming to watch?
I love fireworks. Actually, I like fireworks from a distance. Up close, I think they're a little too loud sometimes, and people always just want to make them louder. Piper interjects before I can get a chance to respond.
We're on our way there right now, Lieutenant General, sir.
Harry nods, once already moving along. Enjoy the show. I'll see you tomorrow, Eden. I think he hates me. Oh. I laugh, wondering why on earth she would ever think that. He was perfectly polite to you. What gives you that impression? Well, August is firmly lodged in his arsehole, so I have no doubt they've whispered terrible things about me in his ear. I'm sure August wouldn't do that. Maybe. Wow, convincing. Thanks for that. I feel like these are the same thing in reality, but I'm gonna do it. I look at her quite intently, wondering how she stayed so strong. I admire her not only for her impressive body of work, but her perseverance in the face of losing what she loves the most. Piper, do you know how incredible you are? Where did that come from? I just see that you're deflated by all of this, and I want to tell you to keep going. You're an inspiration. A step forward, reaching for her hand, she offers it willingly. I may not know what happened, why you were demoted, but I know deep in my heart that it wasn't your fault. She squeezes my hand, a slight flush upon her cheeks. I'm not sure if it's from the cold or from my words. Either way, she's beautiful. She clears her throat, lashes dipped as she gazes at me.
You don't know how much that means to me. You know, I wanted to hate you so much, but you're making it impossible for me.
I have a way with words. I bite my lip to stifle my smile, offering her a small shrug for good measure. You can hate me a little bit if you want. I release her reluctantly, her warmth lingering. We'd better head for the docks if you want to see the fireworks. And I'd better get back into work mode, just in case August spots me. We find a quiet spot in the back near the edge of the market, somewhere where Piper can get a good view of the crowds. She leans back against the wall, gazing up at the stars. The night is clear considering there's been so much snow, and she smiles to herself, nudging me playfully.
Thanks for tonight. It was marginally less shit with you keeping me company.
Ah, I'm glad. Yeah. Fireworks are nowhere near as interesting as Piper. I carefully curl my fingers around her wrist, and Piper steps forward with intent, squaring up to me. Only marginally? She bites her lip, her eyes wide, bright, and beautiful. There's room for improvement, Hunter. Suddenly the sky lights up, burst of color popping into a backdrop of stars. See, I don't like the squealing. The squealing of fireworks, I don't know, it's one of the big things that's always bugged me. She doesn't tear her gaze from me, nor does she pull away. She relaxes in my loose grip, stepping closer again until we're toe to toe. Up close like this, I can count every freckle that dusts the bridge of her nose, her cheeks. Any tips? She swallows loudly, tongue flickering to wet her plum-colored lips. I find myself transfixed by the movement.
That would be cheating, wouldn't it?
I feel like we're gonna miss something. Like, don't get me wrong, this is super cute and all that, but we are not paying attention to anything else, and I feel like we're gonna miss something. Helplessly drawn to her, the display comes to an end, crowd cheering, clapping, but it's all drowned out for me. All I can see is her. She closes her eyes, exhaling sharply. Then we both tense, her eyes snapping open. Oh no. In the distance rings out a terrible, yep, I was worried for that. Oh, this is such a cute picture, for one. Just gonna say that. But what was the scream? lead to a scene containing violence and gore. Okay, alright. Player discretion is advised. Also now viewer discretion. Cold winter wind whips against my skin as I run as fast as I can, sinking deeper into the ominous woodlands that surround Lenoris. I'm hot on Piper's heels, and she's determined and hyper-focused as I am. There's nothing like the hunt, the way my instincts drive every feeling, my senses sharpen to a knife's edge. My every thought is fixed on winning and only winning. I can think of nothing else but finding the source of the distress, a terrible sense of dread swirling deep in my gut. The woods are teeming with every hunter and enforcer Lenoris has to offer, each and every one of us silently hoping that it isn't what we think it is. That this isn't the fifth victim that we've all been expecting. Another of our comrades targeted and slain so brutally, without an apparent motive. Killed simply for doing their job, protecting humankind. My feet pound, and the frost crisp grass, tall trees with gnarled branches that curl inward like talons, almost naked from winter's grasp, looming high above us. I spot eyes glowing in the darkness, but I quickly realize they're carved mercilessly into a rickety tree branch. They glow ominously as another gust of wind blows. I swear I see them blink. I make a mental note to remind myself to return to investigate, though I'm sure they're nothing new. Not in a town like this. Piper skids to a stop, her fingers diligently hovering just above the handle of each of her daggers. Sit safely in the holster of her back. Did you hear that? A quiet but obvious whisper echoes among the trees, a pained groan from something unquestionably human. From a creature. I did. Her fingers twitch, so do mine. Eyes narrowed, every sense razor sharp, and zoned in on a singular point.
It feels young and inexperienced. It's beneath our skill level. Beneath us.
She says it with such a confidence, but her guard is still firmly up. The duo of wide-eyed hunters sergeants that had been ordered to trail us arrive at our sides, their cheek rosy from the harsh bite of wind. Major? Piper opens her mouth to respond, but she pauses, looking to me.
You're the highest rank here, General. Do we move on and let these two handle it? Or do you fancy working out some tension?
No, these are real decisions now that are really gonna matter. I have a feeling they are. So there could be something bigger, but I feel like we should fight. Oh gosh, oh no. Yeah, we'll fight. I could always do with working out a little tension.
That's what I was hoping you'd say. I haven't had a good fight in what feels like forever.
The issue is this the fight we're supposed to be fighting, is the question. Alright, let's do this. I turn to address the sergeants. Continue heading for the rendezvous point. I did not realize that's how that word was spelled. If you encounter General Willingham, tell them we're on our way. See, I feel like we should be the ones moving ahead. Oh gosh, I don't know. Okay. They nod a little too eagerly and run onward. The hairs on the back of my neck rise the second they're out of sight. My body is gearing up for a fight, adrenaline coursing generously through my veins. I close my eyes and clear my mind. I can hear the steady, assured thrum of Piper's heartbeat, the quiet rustles of the grass, the leaves rustling in the trees. Then I feel it. A vampire, a youngling. His aura is frantic and skittish. She's only her aura is she's only just awoken. She's hungry and scared, and that is definitely not what's been causing the issue lately. She's trying to hide. I smile. We're out quite far. I always used to find younglings in this area. She can likely sense that there's a clan here. She's either seeking guidance or an easy meal. It's too dangerous to let her live. She's unstable. Then we kill her. Oh no. The youngling finally emerges from the tree line, her vivid crimson iris surrounded by a blackened scalia. I don't know what that word is. Her eyes flicker wildly as she lumbers towards us, unfocused and impossibly unsteady on her feet. This should be easy. She's clearly deprived of blood. Dark, vining veins surround her wild eyes and creep down her pale cheeks. She wears no shoes, her feet black with mud, and her clothing is torn and saturated with blood, most of it likely to be her own. Her death was obviously not a merciful one. She's quite clearly been left to navigate her rebirth by herself, and this never ends well. Ends in a slaughter of innocent lives. Her lips curl menacingly to reveal sharp fangs that she's clearly still getting used to. She lunges at us without hesitation. I've got to also decide how to fight. What? Come on, my character's the one with fighting knowledge. Block? We're gonna go with block. I blocked her attack without a second thought, sending her staggering. I know without a doubt that she doesn't stand a chance, not against me, not against Piper, and certainly not against us together. The youngling screeches, a deafening sound that leaves my eardrums crackling, but we relent. She tries again, shrieking as she attempts to attach herself to Piper's neck with her fangs bared. Piper glances at me with certain ferocity, burning her gaze, our twin instincts sizzling, itching for a kill.
Not today, sweetheart.
Piper kicks her square in her chest, sending her hurling towards me. After a swift elbow in the face, which leaves her stunned, I grab her about the wrist and tackle her to the forest floor. I seat myself upon her back, and Piper quickly assists, holding her arms steady where she tries to claw me. The youngling thrashes and screams as I forcefully grab her hair, yanking her head back. Oh no. Piper stares her down, shaking her head.
Put her out of her misery.
We work tandem to remove her head clean from her body. It's the only way, however violent it may be. Oh. I feel warmth spray against my skin, the unmistakable smell of copper permeating the air. The visceral sound of tearing flesh and breaking bone fills the clearing. Then she turns to nothingness beneath us, an unrecognizable pile of blood and viscera, yet another human life stolen and twisted into something evil. Well, that was fun. I brush the dirt from my knees and take a deep breath, watching Piper clean off her bloody daggers in the grass. We should really get going. She turns to face me, and I spot her face covered in dark splattering of crimson. Just straight after a fight and attack, I'll yeah, whatever, go for it. It's even the top option now. I don't know if that has a difference or not, but I take a tentative step forward. Her eyes quickly flicker to my face. You have a little something. I do. I nod, stepping closer again, unable to stifle the smile that threatens to curl at my lips as she stares down at me. Right here. I touch the tip of her nose and then each of her cheeks. May I? She arches a brow at me, her eyes sparkling wickedly. You may. She tilts her head and waits expectantly, a hand resting upon her crooked hip. I reach out and brush my thumb over the apple over the apple of her full freckled cheeks, wiping away the still wet blood. It smears, so I press a little harder, grimacing as I make even more of a mess of her face. She huffs a quiet laugh, and I could tell she was attempting to swallow. She grabs my wrist and reels
Come
me
on,
in.
put your back into it.
Oh gosh. I laugh as Piper uses the sleeve of my coat roughly wipe her face clean, leaving her cheeks delightfully red. Whoop. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. Oh. Technical. Gosh, my dog. Okay, alright, there we go. That startled me. Okay, how do I look? I inspect the damage to my sleeve with a sigh as I register the bloodstains. It's certainly not the worst mess I've been in. Positively ravishing as always. I clear my throat, enchanted by the way her eyes crinkle at the corners when she laughs. I mean it, Piper, even covered in blood. I know you mean it. A pause. I think back to the beach, the fireworks. I think of the way the connection between us only seems to grow stronger each time I'm in her presence. Piper, about the festival. She grabs my forearm, squeezing gently.
I had an amazing time with you. The best. But another time, we should go.
Yeah, I feel like this is a horrible time to bring that up. Although I'm disappointed by the gentle deflection, I understand. I'm almost completely forgotten. I had almost completely forgotten where we are and what we're supposed to be doing. Right, another time. Her hand slides down my arm, her fingers ghosting over my own as she pulls away, and it's straight back into
We'd better get
business.
going. August will be having an absolute bitch fit.
Yeah, maybe we should have been the ones to go ahead, but it's fine. Piper tilts her head to the side, a loud crack as her bone clicks back into its rightful place. Let's dash. It's easy to tell what we're dealing with as we draw near the scene. Dozens of hunters and enforcers of varying ranks salute the small clearing, or saturate the small clearing, the majority of them still dressed in their festival attire, much like Piper and I. We spot a revival team emerging from the tree line, their faces pale and drawn. It's then that I know. They didn't make it.
You're here.
We are. We ran into some trouble on the way, but we took care of it. I gathered that's why you're so late. It's fine. Obviously such things cannot be prevented.
It's not good news, as I'm sure you can tell.
Little obvious, but that's alright. My heart sinks. I knew, but hearing it out loud is still unpleasant. Do we have an identity? They shake their head, brushing the front of their fur coat, and I'm sure they're less than happy about wearing it in such a situation.
We cannot identify the...
Their voice catches.
There is no body. Again, nothing but... well, I don't need to repeat such monstrous details. You've read the reports from the previous murders. Much of the same ghastliness.
that's great. Also, did I read the reports? I'm pretty sure you guys kept that from me because you wanted clean eyes. But okay. Piper scoffs, her shoulders tensing, and I swear I can see tears in her eyes. She's hurting and angry. So angry I can feel it. Goose flesh I usually just call them goosebumps. Prickle across my skin thanks to our close proximity, and my own emotions waver with the sheer force of it. This is fucking ridiculous.
This cannot keep happening, August!
I flinch, feeling a surge of energy as August reacts. The smell of ozone is suddenly thick in the air. There is a flash in the darkness, and violet sparks crackle about their clenched fists. Oh, their eyes alight.
Thank you, Piper, for your input. I didn't know this was upsetting. I assumed everyone was enjoying this.
This is going great. A dozen eyes turn to look at them, and they quickly calm themselves. August looks beyond exhausted as always, the skin beneath their eyes purpled, their cheeks drawn. Piper opens her mouth to retaliate, but wisely decides against it. This actually might be the first time I've seen her look guilty. August averts their gaze as if they can't bear to look at her. They're upset too.
I suggest you keep your thoughts to yourself in such a situation, unless you have any useful insight.
Okay, alright. We need to all chill out. It's not a question.
Yes. Sorry, General.
I thought as much. We're all hurting, Piper, not just you. August sighs deeply, sparing us both a woeful glance before they address the gathered forces.
Hunters, any mages present will patrol the immediate area. Generals will head further afield and begin an extensive perimeter search. I want no stone unturned here. Any juniors need to get the hell out of here. You're not equipped to even think about dealing with whatever this thing is, and I won't be responsible for your demise. Anyone else present is to report back to headquarters immediately. We'll need people on the ground in order to reassure the townsfolk. I don't want this causing widespread panic. It's damage control time.
Fun. Alright. There's a quiet, subdued mumble of yes, General, and they all dolefully begin to obey August's orders, disappearing in various directions. Would you like me to join the perimeter search? No, I'd like you to go home. Leave this to others. We need you ready for anything that may transpire overnight. What? Come on. Are you serious? Of course. Piper fidgets uneasy. What? You're a major, aren't you? If you were listening, you'll know what I asked of you. The tension between them is yet again immensely unpleasant. Of course, General. She should have expected such a response, and I wonder if she'll ever learn. Or maybe she's hoping to rile them up. I can't tell. She throws me a quick, pitiful glance before she glares at August and turns to join her comrades. Later. August massages their temples, inhaling sharply. I notice their hands are trembling, and I unconsciously take a step towards them, fearful they might pass out. They hold out their hand. I'm fine, really. Oh, yeah, that's completely fine. General?
I appreciate your concern, Hunter, really. Anything that ails me is my fault and mine alone.
Well, that doesn't matter. It still means you're not doing well, but okay. Now please head back. I meant it when I said I need you rested.
You'll be the first to hear if anything significant happens. I'll send a messenger to retrieve you when the victim has been identified.
Of course. Good night and stay safe. If you think I'm staying out here in this for another second, you're solely mistaken. I have a mountain of paperwork the size of Abac on my desk. Farewell, Eden. I take a final look at the scene where the enforcer witches have cast their mage lights over the bloodiest patch of grass, leaving them to their work no matter how much I long to investigate. After that outburst, it's best not to question my enforcer's request. I bow my head before I turn, eager to get out of here. As I head back through the woodlands, I notice how eerily silent it is. A strange sense of calm washes over me, then a whisper. Harry. I stop dead in my tracks, my hand over my weapon. I see nothing, feel nothing, no matter how hard I concentrate. Oh no, did Harry die? But... okay. Then I realize that voice, the familiar yet subdued ache that begins to creep into my temple. James? You deserve to know. Oh, wait, or is Harry the one that's evil? The pain ebbs and flows, my breathing growing unsteady, almost as if something weighs heavy upon my chest. The fleeting, comforting calm that had just settled over me is snatched away as his voice continues to echo in my mind. No, what? I'm sorry. A sharp, burning pain shoots along my spine and I fall to the ground. The snow-covered grass is wet beneath my fingertips. His words were cut off, and after a moment, I'm yet again surrounded by a blissful silence. Fucking ghost. I drag myself to my feet, and now I only have one thing on my mind. One thing that I must do. Visit the Lieutenant General and find out what the hell is happening to me. I don't know if Harry's the one we should be telling now. I feel like either Harry's the one dead or Harry's got some connection. But I don't know. After having no luck finding him in his own office, I head to the only other place I assume he may be at this hour. The door to August's office is thankfully ajar, so I peek around the frame, finding Harry standing alone. He has a report in his hand, his coat hung in the back of August's chair. He looks exhausted, his eyes red-rimmed. However, when he notices me, he offers me a bright, earnest smile.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to see you safe.
My throat feels tight, and I can't quite place why. James is doing a good job of making it difficult for me to stop thinking about him. The pain I felt from his final moments was raw, like an exposed nerve. For some reason, when I think of it, now I think of Harry. I'm seriously okay. Harry's got some kind of connection. It's gotta be happening. I need to know why he wants me to come here, why everything seems to point back to the man standing before me. I need to tell you something, but I need you to promise you won't think I've lost my mind. Harry narrows his gaze, nodding once. Go on. I visited the graveyard a few days ago while I was getting my bearings. He stays silent, but I notice the way his knuckles bleed white as he tightens his fist. I felt an overwhelming sense of grief there, pain, a yearning for a lost love, a sense of failure and crippling sorrow. I thought nothing of it at the time. It's not unheard of for those that have been murdered to feel scared or sentimental in their final moments, in my experience. But Harry drops his gaze, his bright eyes sad and edged with tears. My words threaten to catch in my throat, but I relent. The other night I visited again. It's almost like something was pulling me there. I heard more, not just a memory this time, but he spoke to me. He looks like he's seen a ghost. He stares at me wide-eyed, quickly sweeping his cheeks.
Oh, James.
Oh, you do know something. I get the horrible feeling that he's been waiting for this. I need to know. He nods, clearly understanding. Then he takes a deep, shuddering breath.
James was assigned as my very first hunter the moment we both graduated at 18. He'd shown remarkable promise in school, basically skipping all of the junior nonsense that they force on you. I, too, had impressed, so we were placed together in the hopes that we'd become unstoppable. We were inseparable in the field together for decades, until I took this post as Lieutenant General.
A pause, and another deep breath, one that shakes.
But, as well as being my subordinate, he was also my partner. My husband.
My heart sinks, bile rising in my throat. So maybe there's not a connection, maybe they were just together. I've read countless reports about him in the famous Hunter Lane over the years, and I never knew his first name or anything about him other than his incomparable work. Official records tend to omit personal details for the safety of the hunter or enforcer in question, unless they become a leader like Harry. They were what is that word? Just going around that, the best of the best. Together they killed some of the most nefarious creatures in our history, and without question, every young trainee aspires to be just like Hunter Lane. To think that he's just gone, and what Harry must have be going through. I'm so sorry, I had no idea.
For nearly 10 years, yes. But we'd known each other forever. I failed the hunter initiation quite dramatically, and he was taken away to his father's home country to train to become what I'd always dreamed of becoming. Life had other plans for me, but we still found each other in the end.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
He used to joke that we were destined. The romantic fool. I really don't think it's sunk in that he's gone just yet.
No, that's so cute. You better not be evil.
I keep thinking he's going to walk through my door, covered head to toe in blood and grime, with a stupid, wonderful grin on his face.
I notice his eyes light up when he talks about him.
They say that people deal with grief differently, but I haven't quite figured mine out just yet.
Well, it just happened.
I apologize for not telling you, but it was important to me that I could trust you first. My judgment has been impaired, I'll admit it, though this turn of events isn't exactly what I expected. All I can think about now is justice. About the others that died before him, and what we could have done to stop it. What I could have done to stop it.
What did he tell you when he spoke to you? His words waver, and he mindlessly fiddles with his wedding band, eagerly awaiting my response. I think about what Ezra said about being careful who I share this with. Did that warning apply to the Lieutenant General of all of Ezekria? I feel like it applied to everyone. I mean, the biggest bit of advice I've gotten is trust nobody. But, oh well. But I can't lie. Oh my gosh. It was his husband. I can't lie about that. I swear if this bites me in the butt and you... okay, fine. He told me to leave, that he failed, and there's no hope. He swallows thickly, his expression unchanging. I got the impression he wanted to say more, but I don't know how he managed to communicate with me in the first place. I think he can only say so much before he fades away. It feels like a great struggle for him to reach out. I cannot explain it. He closes his eyes tight, shaking his head as if he can't bear to hear any more.
I will need you to speak to Augustus about this. They know more about psionic magic than anyone here. I'm sure they'll be able to help you figure this out. I do not trust anyone else.
So it is psionic magic. Then a hopeful look.
Did he truly not say anything else?
He didn't, but the first night that I felt him, I could tell how much he loved you, Harry. You were all he could think about in his final moments. He laughs quietly.
Yes. Well, he's all I can think about too. A curse now, I suppose.
Silence hangs heavy between us, and I don't quite know what to say next. He looks devastated, understandably. He must have so much on his mind already, with the latest murder and now this. The way he came alive when he spoke about James didn't go unnoticed, and I wonder if maybe talking about him would lift his mood. There's a lot of hunters out there that can only aspire to be half as brilliant as Hunter Lane. I would love to hear what he was like if you don't mind. His somber expression disappears and he seems to brighten up a little.
He was a cocky son of a bitch, but it worked well for him in the field. He was never careless, though.
Well, that's a way to be described.
I often found myself watching him instead of paying attention to whatever was attacking us. Luckily, he could fight well enough to protect us both, or I'm sure we'd have been in trouble. A lot of enforcers choose to stay cooped up in a stuffy office, away from all that danger. Working with James made me not want to miss a thing.
He digs into his coat pocket, retrieving his wallet and pulling out a small weathered photo. I want to see. I hope they show it. He pauses, staring me down as if he has his reservations, but then he hands it over. Yes! Let me see. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. It's of him and James. They look young, beyond happy, and impossibly in love.
We were unbearable to be around, I'm sure.
Who cares? I study the genuine smile and the way their fingers are laced together. I may not know James aside from the voice in my head, but I feel a strong connection to him, as if I've always known him forever. Thank you for showing me. He tucks the photo back into its place right beside a neatly folded up letter.
Well, apparently he appears to have taken a liking to you. It's only fair for you to put a face to the name, I suppose.
He stares down at his hands, once again twisting his wedding band. His expression is neutral when he meets my gaze, but in a split second his disposition shifts to formality. I'm so used to dealing with figures of authority. Oh gosh. I gather that our conversation about his dearly departed is over.
What happened tonight could have been prevented. It's unacceptable that we were so aware of the looming threat, and yet we let our guard down and lost another life. This cannot happen again.
Okay, you were technically one of the people who really wanted this festival to happen, but I'm not going to say that, or I wouldn't. I nod, agreeing wholeheartedly, but cannot shake the feeling that yes, this could have been prevented if it weren't for the festival. Exactly. The festival he was so, adamant went ahead despite others' clear apprehension against, including August. I think better of pressing the matter. Harry suddenly doesn't seem like a man willing to admit fault. Did you speak to the twins as I requested? I did. As I'm sure you expected, I didn't get much out of them. A quiet hum, which I think is an indifferent agreement, and Harry sighs heavily. They're rather adept at both lying and sheer avoidance. I am interested in speaking to the brother alone, though. There was something off about him, like he just didn't want to be there. I also came across a letter outside the building, one that was addressed to him, and the language looked demonic. Harry nods, indifferent, and I wonder if he even heard me. He clears his throat and flicks his eyes to the side, as though he has no interest in humoring me any longer.
There's nothing more you can do here until we've identified the victim. Get some rest. It's late. You're dismissed, Hunter.
Though I'm used to being addressed in such a manner, I'd be lying if I'd say I wasn't perplexed by the shift in demeanor. I chalk it up to grief, just like he said, but I can't help but feel like maybe I disappointed him somehow. I turn and I quietly leave. Snow is falling as I step outside. Though the hour is late, there's certainly no peaceful quiet in Lunaris tonight. So I'm debating we might just leave it here. Kind of a short stream, but reading this much and doing all this can it's a lot sometimes. So, and I think we're at a decent place to stop, and I have a feeling something else is about to happen, because we're hitting that point in the story where things just kind of continue to happen, and so I don't want to get trapped in another long part of the story, and so we'll save that for next stream. I'll go ahead and save. Go ahead and save over this. Or not. Okay. Hello, let me save. There we go. I mean, we've gone through one chapter. I want to get through more. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna regret it, but we're gonna do a little more. I do this every stream with this, or I say that. I did this last stream too, but we'll see. The streets outside of headquarters are bustling with hunters, enforcers, and everything in between. I keep my head down as I make my way towards the wolf. I fall into a trance as I replay my conversation with Harry over and over, trying to pinpoint the exact moment that made him change the attitude so drastically. I'm snapped back into reality when I bump into something cold and hard, finding a pair of familiar golden eyes staring back at me when I look up.
Distracted, are we?
Yeah, very. It's kind of just another murder. I step back, brushing down the front of my coat, and I see that his lips on the cusp of curling to the side in a vaguely amused smirk. This is probably why I should have stopped. My brain is not reading. You could say that. It's been a long night. He offers me a sympathetic look, shoving his hands firmly into his coat pockets as a duo of enforcers pass by. They make a point to glare at him, and by proxy at me for being near him. Finn dolefully avoids their gaze like a man who's had centuries to perfect feigning indifference to the way people like me treat him and his kind. Yeah, we also just murdered a vampire a little bit ago, so I'm glad to see you safe, Eden. We were all worried for you when we heard. Thank you, Finn. He turns to check that the street is clear, turning back to me with a serious look. I have my clan patrolling the woods to ensure they're out until dawn, searching if necessary. Anything we can do to help find whatever or whoever is doing this. I'm grateful for his assistance, and I certainly can't say I've never had an entire clan of vampires as allies before. I'm optimistic that their help will be of great value to me. That's very kind. After an indecipherable pause, Finn's expression drifts somewhere far away. You know, I was out there just now. I picked up a scent, something familiar. Familiar how? He steps closer, and there's a certain air of caution in the way he addresses me, as if he's unsure that we're truly alone. I didn't get to hang around. There were too many enforcers, but the blood on the stone that we found in the graveyard, that the scent of... He pauses, apprehension clouding the way he looks at me. His next words are glum and as dead as his demeanor of Hunter Lane's death. He's testing the waters, as if the way he holds my stare is anything to go by, waiting to see just how clued in I am. I know about him, Finn. I spoke to Harry just now. He might be a vampire, but the look that crosses his face momentarily isn't exactly subtle. He casts his eyes away from me, the frown that settles at his brow softening around the edges. He licks one of his fangs, thinking of a forlornness that suits him a little too well. I see. And how did that go? I shrug, because I can't really offer him anything else. I feel deflated and defeated. Not great. He's in mourning, and I don't think he's in the right mind to be making decisions. Finn purses his lips, contemplating my statement.
That's a bold way to speak of your Lieutenant General, but I don't doubt your instincts.
Oh, no. Okay. Hopefully the stream is still there. Okay.
I've lost loved ones, and it's never easy. The mind needs time to heal after such trauma, and all Harry is doing is delaying his grief.
Eventually, he throws me a half-hearted smile, but I sense it's something pitiful rather than friendly. I suspect my frustrations with my current predicament is glaring obvious without him having to read my thoughts.
I'm sorry you've been kept so in the dark. I can sense that you're frustrated, and I don't blame you. As much as I may not agree with certain information being withheld, it truly is for your safety.
Well, I mean, they keep saying I'm the one to solve this, but at the same time, eventually I've got to get all the information. It's funny because everyone keeps saying such things, but it certainly doesn't feel like anything other than sheer avoidance. He removes a hand from his pocket, running long fingers through his hair with knowing exhale. Yes, well, I cannot excuse anyone else's behavior, but I can apologize for my own. Come by the catacombs when you get a chance. I have something we can discuss that may help. Though spending some time underground in a tomb sounds less than appealing, Finn doesn't look like the kind of man who leaves in squalor. Plus, any information is valued, and Finn has lived here long enough to know the ins and outs of this strange little town. Thank you. I'll take you up on that as soon as I can. He tips his head, encouraging me to follow him towards the wolf, I assume. Come on, I'll walk you home. I'm eager to get inside, and with a few strides I catch up to him, falling in step. I don't require an escort, you know. Everyone seems so set on ensuring I'm safe, but you all seem to be forgetting I was brought here to save the day. Supposedly. He purses his lips in an obvious attempt to stop himself from laughing, and I watch the bob of his throat as he swallows the noise.
I'm aware that you require no assistance, but think about the hunters that were killed. They were of your caliber, your rank. The best of the best, as the enforcers love to say. The thought of you ending up like them is not a pleasant one.
The thought of anyone ending up like them is not a pleasant one. He has a point, I suppose. Very well, but no coddling, understand? Yes, General. He laughs again, and he catches sight of the dramatic roll of my eyes, sidestepping with straddling grace to avoid the elbow I launch towards his ribcage. We walk quietly through the streets, the cobblestone glistening with frost. The moon is full and hangs low in the sky, as always seems to be here in Lenoris, and Finn exhales sharply to break the silence. I glance at him, too tired to ask him many of the hundreds of questions that run through my mind. I think he knows, somehow, because he also seems to have something on the tip of his tongue. We stop outside the Wolf, the lantern that hangs above the dark door thanks to the late hour. I glance up at the now familiar sign, a scrappy-looking white wolf howling at the full moon, and I laugh. Finn leans against the mismatched brick and stares at me quite intently, his eyes unnervingly bright in the glowing darkness. What's funny? You're all masters at being painfully cryptic, and yet I still feel at home. But I shouldn't trust a single one of you, should I? He turns, checking we're alone again, before he leans closer, his voice low.
That's for you to decide. So, tell me, Hunter, what does that tricky little gut of yours tell you about all of this? About us? What do you feel?
I don't know. No, like I need a drink. You know, it's a shame the bar is closed. I would kill for a drink right about now. He grins. The grin he offers tells me I'd probably said the wrong thing, inviting him to be devious. Even if you think you've lived here for centuries and not broken into the tavern for a late night beverage, then you're sorely mistaken. Oh no, not what I meant, not what I meant. I don't doubt that, and it's certainly tempting, but please don't. No, I shouldn't. I need a clear head tomorrow, as clear as I can muster with all of this fog anyways. I wonder what August would think of his new star general was caught stealing from the local with a new vampire. Or with a vampire. I'm willing to find out. No! I join him in his laughter, the mere thought of August being informed of such transgressions giving me the boost I need to drag myself up those stairs. You're yet to discover just how easy August is to fluster, and I implore you to find out. They turn quite a startling shade of red. Oh gosh. I don't doubt that, but I've seen August mildly angry, and I can't say I'm all that fond of it. I'd rather not get zapped. He shrugs, lips pursed. That's fair. I really should get some rest.
A pleasure as always. And remember, we've got your back. Should we find anything of interest overnight, I'll come running. Daylight permitting, of course. Good night, Hunter.
I return his smile, pushing the heavy door to the Wolf open and praying it doesn't creak and wake the other residents. Good night, Finn. I watch him go. Before I close the door, only the light of the moonlight guiding his way as he disappears into the darkness. I finally settle upon the hard mattress, the cheap sheets harsh against my skin as I attempt to get comfortable. Okay, we're actually gonna leave it there this time. So there we go. We got a bit more little closure and stuff. I feel like that was good. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I am loving this story so much. I think it's so well made. And I'm going to also go ahead and save. Can I save over this? Yes. Yes, I do. There we go. All right. So we're the chapter is even called Rest. It'll be a good place to pick up next time whenever we get on to play. And I cannot wait. It, again, probably won't be next stream. We'll see if I get anything planned. And next stream is gonna be in quite a few days. I know it's gonna be out past the weekend. I've got a few things planned. So I will make sure and tweet out when the next stream is, and I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you have a good night, day, or whatever time you're in. And I will see you guys later.